What's something the internet killed that you miss? Photo albums. My parents have all these awesome albums from when they were kids, and then when they got married, and then from my childhood. I love leafing through them when I'm at their house. My own photos are all on Facebook or Instagram and it's not the same at all. Video game secrets. It was really cool hearing kids talk about if you beat every person in a row without losing, you fight a secret boss in Street Fighter 2. And the only way you'd actually know for sure is if it happened in front of you. And being the first to spread news of secrets and Easter eggs among your group of friends. Now you can look up whatever you want to know and where to find any object in almost every game there is. I miss playground rumors. And when games had genuine mystery. If you were exceedingly dumb or had terrible ideas, your reach was really only your direct circle of friends. Now idiots can broadcast their ideas across the planet with a click. The village idiots have gone global. Saturday morning cartoons. As I get older, I realize the ritual of a thing is just as important as the actual thing itself. It's not just about the cartoons. Watching them as an adult, many of the cartoons from the 80s and early 90s were terrible. Rather it was the event of Saturday morning cartoons that I miss. My daughters can watch whatever they want, whenever they want to watch it. They don't know what it is like to have to wait for a week for a new episode. They usually just binge their shows whenever they want. If my kids want to spend the entire weekend watching My Little Pony, they can. And they can do it the week after too. They don't know what it is like to miss an episode of Power Rangers, because it was now scheduled at 7 AM instead of 6:30, and I had to leave for school. They also don't have to watch TV together. They can just watch whatever on their phones or tablets, or on the TV in the living room. Nothing, except my wife and I, stop them from consuming the specific entertainment that they want. I'm seeing a few people say movie rental stores. I think specifically the moment when mom and dad say, let's go rent movies tonight, and you knew you were in for a night of staying up late and eating junk food. Those were the days, man. I knew Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back was going to positively impact my future. Yep. My parents would give us a rating limit and let each of us choose one so we could watch them during the weekend. It was always a fight to the death who got their movie Friday night. I'm glad most of us grew up together in a way. I get tired of hearing insane stories of meth head parents or creepy cousins or whatever. Blockbuster movie night is as nostalgia inducing as it gets. There is now work culture of always being reachable by email or text for whatever happens. A lot of places expect you to be pretty much on call, even when you're not at the office anymore. I worked at an ad agency where days off sometimes didn't even feel like that, because I would still be getting emails about things and was expected to be checking them. There should be some level of balance between work and personal life, and I feel like that is fading. Because so many places are adapting this type of culture, especially startups. I used to work at an accounting firm where that was the expectation. Never again. That shouldn't be acceptable. It isn't at my office. I'd never be okay with the boss calling me after work hours, except in very rare circumstances. Got to have a work-life separation. Having a mental catalog of great jokes that most people hadn't heard. It was so much fun to drop a few at parties and get some laughs. I remember how people like that were always the best to have around. They were like joke wizards. That was me. Now it only works with my parents and other baby boomers. My dad says he misses having arguments with friends, which could only be resolved by phoning whoever was most knowledgeable on a subject. For instance, did you know lightning travels upwards? No, it goes down. Let's phone your dad. He's a meteorologist. I miss that, the sense of wonderment and imagining how something could work. Now, I can instantly end it with a search. I also miss the simplicity of doing something. For so many things, I find myself researching the multitude of ways to tackle something and feeling overwhelmed. Before, it would be one way, from a book. Just going over to your friend's house or the park unannounced to see if they were there and hang out. I miss this. When you had to physically go hunt your friend down and link all the clues you had together. Like, well, her mom said she left for the corner store like 10 minutes ago, but her bike is parked at the river, so she probably took X path to get there, and blah blah blah, until you found them, lol. Yard sales, garage sales and flea markets. People still have them, but it's way harder to find stuff at a good price. eBay and Amazon have ruined that, because everybody just looks up what things are selling for. And sometimes eBay is ridiculously inflated. I found a rare Nerf gun that we had been looking for at a flea market once, and the lady was charging $150 because that was the going rate on eBay. People are always selling action figures in bad condition for $20 because they don't realize that that price is mint in box and all of the arms and legs are required. Like, I just wanna grab a TMNT toy for my kids. I'm not paying $20 for your broken toy. It used to be about persistence and digging up a good deal somewhere. Now, I may as well just buy it off of eBay. The cost is the same and my house smells better than most of the people at the flea markets. My eyesight. I told you you'd go blind if you kept doing that. Going through life without worrying about somebody taking a video of you and posting it for everybody to see. This one. I feel like I missed out in college, because anytime the slightest thing happened at college, people would instantly whip their phones out. And this was 6 years ago. I can't imagine what kids go through now. It's been 25 years since I was in college. I wish we had phones with cameras back then. A lot of faded memories of people and places that I wish I had photos of. Being off the grid. Internet and cell phones ruined it. Nothing stresses me out more than a string of texts in the morning. I feel like I have to check it in case it's work related. Email used to be fun. Now it's just a series of people needing something from me or trying to sell me something. Maybe I'm just an old cranky man. If being stressed by morning texts and email means being old cranky man, then I'm definitely an old cranky man at 26. Reading a book before bed. Now I mostly surf the web until I get tired. I've been trying to break that habit myself. Even with night screen enabled, I find that looking at my phone makes it hard to go to sleep. Whereas reading a book wouldn't have that effect on me. But it's so damn hard. I usually end up down some rabbit hole of nonsense on my phone. I simply lose track of time. Event planning / announcements didn't rely on Facebook. I mean, social media was in full swing by the time I was 19, so I only speak of teenage / childhood memories. But I feel like when event planning involved phone calling, texting, and speaking to each other face to face, you really had mutual connection from people who were as into the idea as you were. Nowadays someone ticks that damn maybe, interested, or yes button, or says oh sweet lines get back to you in Messenger, and that's the last you hear from them until they don't show anyways. And yes, I'm bitter from being on the receiving end of many people doing that. Not having access to literally all the information. By that I mean I love that there is a wealth of knowledge at my fingertips, but there's also a lot of garbage, noise, and information that I just don't need to know. Imagination is dying. It's good for the brain to get bored and wonder and think and imagine. Shortwave radio. Every day and night you could tune in pretty much every country on the planet, and there were even published guides, like TV Guide. I had so much fun trying to tune in stations all around the world and putting pins in my world map for all of the ones I managed. Conditions vary a lot based on day or night, frequency, solar conditions, etc. And you could also write to the stations with a report and get postcards and pennants and other swag from them. It all started dying in the 2000s once the internet meant you could find info about everyone everywhere. I found my old shortwave radio a year or two ago from Radio Shack, another thing I miss, and you can still get some stuff, but the bands are dead for the most part. It's sad that magic is gone. Open bracket. Mystery in video games. I feel like playing was more meaningful without wikis and guides readily available. This especially applies to MMOs. Knowing the game used to be a really great feat. The stock market. It used to be a great place for people who could do some quick math. Now it is a game of computers bidding and selling within fractions of seconds and well-dressed guys with connections who hit the buttons. Map reading and people's ability to give or to follow directions from place to place. I know people who can't walk down the block without Google Maps. I really wish I were exaggerating, but I'm not. Staying up late on a cool summer night flipping through channels with my mom, settling on MeTV because we only had basic cable, and watching old horror flicks while we laughed at how corny they were, all the while thinking internally how terrifying the concepts are if only they had the technology to execute it properly, at the same time not realizing that years later you will reminisce over these times and realizing that these simple moments were some of the best you've ever had.